So cast iron and carbon steel work pretty much exactly the same. They have all the same benefits. They heat up really slowly and they hold heat because of that very, very well. But carbon steel, in my opinion, is way, way superior unless you really, really need something like cast iron for a specific purpose. The reason for that is it's much lighter, and the benefit beyond anything else is that it gets this extremely, extremely, extremely non-stick coating via seasoning after you've cooked with it a couple of times. This is what it looks like when you first get it. This is what it looks like after a couple of times of cooking. And you can tell just by looking at it, it's definitely non-stick. Eggs slide off of it, fish slides off of it, not even a little piece of scrambled egg gets stuck to the pan. It's amazing. The way you do that is you actually end up seasoning it. You can season it just as you cook with it, but what I always like doing with things like this and with cast iron is actually pre-seasoning it myself. That way I sort of know what I'm getting into with that first dish that I'm cooking. It's the same way that you would do it with cast iron. I personally prefer flaxseed oil. Lots of people in the culinary industry prefer flaxseed oil for seasoning it yourself when you're not cooking. You do it very, very simply. You put the pan just like this in the sink. You wash it, you scrub it, you get all the little bits of oil from the machining process off of it. You dry it. You put it in the oven at about 150 to 200 degrees and you let it warm up. While you're doing that, you get a bottle of flaxseed oil. You shake it up really, really well. You get a napkin, you put a couple of drops on the napkin, and then you bring this out of the oven once it's heated up a bit, and you rub the oil all over the pan, on the inside, on the edges, on the handle if you want, though you don't really need to because the buyer has a little silicone covered handle. You flip it over, you rub it all over the back of the pan, all over the seams, everywhere. You let it sit for a few seconds, then you take a dry paper towel, and with a dry paper towel, you start wiping it down. You wipe down every little bit of oil you can see. And since you've heated it up and since it's oil, you now have this microscopic layer of oil all over your pan. You take it, you throw it in the oven at 200 degrees, you crank it up to 550 or 500, whatever it goes to, and you let it sit there for 2 hours. When it hits 2-hour mark, you turn the oven off and you let it sit there in the oven without touching it, without pestering it, for another 2 hours until it completely cools down. And that's the most important part, is you actually want to have everything cross-link slowly as it's cooling down. And that's what's going to get you this insanely hard, resilient, non-stick finish. If you try to rush it, if you just turn off the oven and bring it out and let it cool down on your stove in ambient temperature instead of cooling down from 500 all the way down to 100, it's not going to cross-link the same way and you're not going to get the same results that you see here. So, with that said, I'll put links down below. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, as always, let me know. And otherwise, I will talk to you very soon.